I'm gonna get him next time.
Hey, what's up guys? This is True Legacy Studio. I'm gonna be doing a voiceover commentary between a match between Alan Casio, which is one of my teammates. He's a purple belt, 155 pounds, versus me, True Legacy Studio, 140 pounds, purple belt as well. Alan recently got promoted to purple belt maybe a month ago. Our matches always have a lot of exchanges, a lot of scrambles. So let's get started. All right, right here, I'm trying to keep my head lower than his head level so that way I can go for an ankle pick. I successfully grab his ankle, and then my left hand is not where it should be. It should be on the other side clubbing so that way I can get the takedown, but it is what it is. I just got the ankle right here, pick it up. He's trying to get his knee out. I know Alan very well, so I'm already trying to keep his hips away and trying to keep his knee to my chest. He's fighting really hard right here. I'm trying to get the takedown on him, and he's just kicks his knee out. He turns his back away just for a split second, and I decide to jump on that opportunity to try to get a body lock on him. He sees me coming out of the corner of his eye and spins quickly enough to get an underhook and outside tie. So then he goes for my leg, which I didn't expect, but my underhook saved me. I kept his body away, and then we reset standing to a neutral position. All right, so we're hand fighting. I'm faking some shots. He doesn't believe it, so I do the Gordon Ryan, baiting the leg so that way he can go for the single leg while having my arm in front of my leg, ready for it to underhook. So he takes the bait, I underhook, and I keep him away as much as I can, but I felt like I was losing balance, so then I go for a chin strap and I try to sweep him over my head. This is my weak side, and Alan's very good at keeping his base, so he's used to fighting people much bigger and stronger than him. So in terms of strength, I'm not strong enough to just overpower him and throw him over, especially on my weak side. I suck on this side, so I completely fail like a loser, and we keep scrambling. So right here, I keep my knee to my chest. If you keep your knees to your chest, it's very hard for your opponents to pass, even with one knee to my chest. Right here, I'm doing a decent job of keeping them away from getting inside position. So I start elevating him. I notice that his weight shifted to my left side, so I start to do a sort of technical stand-up, and I start coming up. He starts getting to his back, so I go, and I get to the position I wanted to get to, or close enough. So right here, he has kind of like a K guard right here, so I'm just putting my body weight down from my chest into his knees, driving downwards, so that way I can collapse his knees. If his knees are collapsed into each other, then that allows me to prevent him from generating power from his hips. So I grab his ankle right here, and I start waiting for the perfect time to jump over. Bam! Jump over right here. Let's see that again. He gets a chin strap right here, threatening a guillotine while I have a body lock, but my body lock is very strong, and I know he doesn't have his hands locked for a proper guillotine threat, so I just keep rotating, trying to get to his back. I've been taking Alan's back and choking him with rear naked chokes for years, and he's been getting really good with preventing me from getting my hooks in, from taking his back and choking him, so I haven't been able to submit him like that in a very long time. Right here, we're just scrambling. He's keeping my body down low by his hips, and so I decide to just come up. I have an ankle grip right here, if you can see, and I pull him into me to try to get a sort of takedown right here. A really unimpressive takedown, but takedown nonetheless. So then I start passing his guard fairly easily right here. I grab an overhook on his head and an overhook on his top leg, and I try to get him in a sort of cradle position so he can't extend his body and start escaping. He starts extending his body and escaping, so he starts building his posture, getting to his knees and to his elbow right here, and I don't like that. When Alan does that, it's very bad news, because then he's very good at doing that and he starts escaping. So I start jumping over to the other side without any control. He doesn't let me get my bottom hooks in, but I do have a seatbelt grip on his upper body. So right here, I'm just trying to control his upper body as best I can and making a somewhat of an attempt to get my hooks in. I give up right here, and I end up going for trapping his top arm with my top leg, which was successful. I start trying to dig my arm underneath his chin while hand fighting, but he starts escaping his legs because I did not have control of his legs with my hooks. So he starts fighting. I get a sort of crucifix right here, but I got ahead of myself and I didn't really trap his top arm very well. As you can see, his hand right here. So then he uses that to push my leg off of his body and explode and get onto it and get into a top position right here. He's blocking my hips right here, preventing me from turning. I'm posting on his hips, and he's keeping his hips away so that way he controls me as best he can. So right here, he turns his hips a little bit. He feels me coming up, and so I keep fighting, and I try to reach for his legs for some reason, but it didn't work. So then I used that to roll, and I rolled to my right. He's trying to darce me, so then I start rolling to my left. So then he starts rolling to my left, and I go with him to beat him there. I get to my knees using my momentum, and I start coming up. Right now he doesn't have a lot of control of me, but I'm just fighting, expending a lot of energy trying to get out of this position. Especially with Alan, if I let him settle into a dominant position, it's going to be really hard to escape. So I'd rather use the energy now during these scrambles and try to end up in a top position. And I end up in a bottom position. So I keep fighting. I have my frames, you can't see, but I have my arms framing up against his body so he can't get chest to chest contact. And I start to throw my legs to try to get hooks in. I'm pretty strong with my inversion right here. I get out of these positions a lot, but Alan knows my game very well, and he expected me to do this, and so therefore he's very good at preventing me from getting my hooks in now. So good to him, good for him. I try to get to my knees, and I end up escaping just enough to try to get a half butterfly right here. I don't know what's going on, but I just know I'm not in that position anymore, and that's all that matters. He grabs my ankle and fakes a toe hold, but I'm not threatened by the toe hold at all because he has no control of my hips. So if you want to toe hold someone, you need to have control of their hips. So from here, I'm just trying to see what I can do from here. He staples that bottom leg down, which makes it very difficult for me to actually do anything. He's trying to prevent me from entering his legs because I like to enter the legs and do leg stuff. Right here, I'm just controlling one leg. I bring it to my opposite hip and I pummel my outside leg in. I don't know what this is called, but I get a sort of figure four triangle with my legs right here. He starts turning because he's like, oh shit, Jason's gonna go for a calf slicer, and I have a body lock on his hips. I got the calf slicer locked in. I drive my hips forward, pull his hips towards me, bam, I get a calf slicer on him with 4 minutes left in the round. So we keep going. By the way, these rounds were 7 minutes. So we're standing up, hand fighting again. I'm really tired right here, so I walk around trying to catch my breath. It looks like Alan takes this time to catch his breath as well. Bam, I jump for a Imanari roll. I don't get it. I just try to establish connection with my hands and feet right here. I thought I had control of him somewhat on his legs, but he did a very good job of escaping my legs. He pops right out of there and he starts passing my guard. I panic and I'm like, oh shit. So I use all my strength that I can muster to push his hips away, and he weighs 10-15 pounds more than me. He's a weight class above me, so I figure it's not, I usually try not to use strength, but I'm smaller in this scenario, so I don't think it's a bad thing. I have a figure four Kimura locked. I have a Kimura lock on his arms, and I use that to swing my legs all the way around, trying to take his back. Doesn't work, so I try to transition to an arm bar instead, and he's preventing my legs from going over up until here. I end up extending his arms right here and bringing his body down. He uses that momentum to swing his legs and try to escape. I don't feel like I have enough control of Alan right here to finish the arm bar. He's very scrappy and he's very hard to control. I would prefer to have both legs over his body, but I did not. Even though controlling the head is more important than having both legs over, I did not feel like I could submit him here because he was pushing my top leg with his arm, if you can see here. I have his arm extended and he ends up slipping out of this position. So I transition to an omoplata. I come up, grab his hips, and I was honestly so tired right here. I was out of breath. He just postured up a little bit and I just rolled back. I couldn't fight it. My abs were tired. So we keep going. I try to just do whatever sloppy kind of jiu-jitsu I could do. He almost starts coming around my back, so I turn around and I get an underhook. He kind of has a grip on my leg, but I'm not too threatened by him here. I get to my back and I play guard. I keep both of my knees to my chest always. It's important to have strong hip flexors because if your knees stick to your chest, they can't get inside position on your body. So I start trying to go for a double ankle sweep by grabbing his calf, so it did not work. I was so tired, and I'm just trying to see how much time is left. I look at the time, and I'm like, oh crap, right here. I'm like, oh crap, 3 minutes and 27 seconds. I was so exhausted. I was completely regretting putting 7-minute rounds, especially because with Alan, a 3-minute round feels like 10 minutes. There's so many exchanges of techniques that goes on between us during these rounds. So he's passing my guard. Right here, I'm just thinking what my best strategy would be. And I decide to just play a defensive game, trying to conserve my energy, taking deep breaths. And as long as I don't get submitted and he does not get into a really powerful top position, then I decide I'll be okay. So I'm just conserving my energy. He's trying to fight. I don't know how tired Alan was here. He usually has a really large gas tank, so by the time the round's over, I always feel like I have no energy left in my gas tank, and Alan always has more to keep going with me and with anyone else. He's the little train that could. So he started grabbing my legs, trying to set up some sort of leg entanglement maybe. I have this leg over here, I bring it across my hip and try to go, I'm in 50-50, so I try to go into some sort of heel hook right here. I'm so tired, I can't really generate any power. My technique's really sloppy. I'm hoping I could just get a submission. It doesn't work. Alan's been heel hooked a lot of times by other purple belt Jaime, and sometimes by me, so his heel hook defense is really good. His durability for heel hook defenses is really good. We're also really sweaty at this point. It was hard for me to get a good grip on his heel. So he ends up escaping out of here. I'm just trying to control one of his legs so he doesn't get out. And I'm just thinking, gosh dang it, I have no energy right now. This guy's moving left and right and it's so hard to control him. What am I gonna do? But I get my shin behind his hamstring again right here. I start to wonder if I could get a calf slicer again, but he was wise to it and he ends up escaping. Psych! I end up getting 2 shins behind his hamstrings right here, and I try to go for a double calf slicer. I don't know if that's a thing, but both my shins were behind him. I feel like I could have got it if I had more energy, but I was so tired I couldn't muster up the strength to pull his hips towards my hips to get my shins driving into his hamstrings, so he ends up escaping. But I know his spider senses were tingling right there. He didn't want to get double calf sliced. I'm exhausted beyond belief right now. I cannot breathe, my lungs are burning, and I'm just trying not to get submitted at this point. I tried to get to turtle, it didn't work, so then I'm just trying to run timeout. I end up getting to my knees and I take him down right here, or if you consider a takedown, I don't know, just pick him up and bring him back to the mat. We're scrambling again right here. I figure that I have to use whatever energy I have left to try to stay on top, because if I let him get on top, it's going to be game over. He might get a submission on me. Right here, my lungs are burning. I'm trying to use every bit of strength I have left to try to keep his head elevated so that way he can't use his head to bridge. I'm driving really hard right now. He ends up turning to his belly and I end up coming up on top on his back in this reverse position right here. So I don't know what to do from here. I'm tired. I just want the round to end. I'm looking at the camera that I didn't see there till now. He ends up coming up on all fours and I'm like, cool, I could go for an ankle pick here. Only one problem, I'm exhausted, so I end up letting go because I'm too exhausted to try anything. We both look at the time right here and we still have a minute left, so then we slap and bump and we both look exhausted. He's breathing out of his mouth, I'm breathing out of my ears and my mouth and my nose. I cannot keep going, but I gotta suck it up and just keep pushing because you can't stop until the round's over. I try to get my knees in, didn't work. He's in the top position now. He doesn't have a lot of control of me, but he starts transitioning to mount. Despite him not having a lot of control, I was just too exhausted to do anything, so he's doing a good job of staying on top, trying to maybe go for my back. He does a chair sit, and I'm just trying to block his hook from coming in. He ends up getting his hook in. I sensed that he was going to go for an armbar right here, so I keep my head between his knees, and I end up getting to my knees. So right here, I'm preventing the armbar. He ends up shooting a triangle, and he gets a trap triangle, so I'm in a little bit of danger here. It's not a submission yet, but I'm exhausted beyond belief, and he has a trap triangle which could lead into a triangle submission. So luckily I remember John Danaher's escape that he teaches: put your hand on the hamstring and scoot out until your head pops out, and Alan gets me in an omoplata. I see the camera, I'm like, oh crap, and then he ends up sweeping me. I don't even know how he did this though. It was pretty cool though. I'm exhausted, time runs out, and I'm just grateful that he didn't submit me. He was really trying to get me this day, because the past, I would say 3-4 times, it's been back and forth submissions. He got me one time, then I got him, then he got me again, and then I told him I'm gonna get him again, and I did. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more voiceover commentaries like this, let me know. If you want to see more rolls between Alan and I where he submits me or I go against some other teammates, let me know in the comments. If you love this video, please leave a comment. If you hate this video, please leave more comments. If you didn't even watch the video because you're blind, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.